What's up, guys? So we have this tank right here, aqua top. I'm going to be going over that. What's happened here in the last, I guess, two and a half months. I know I haven't been putting out much videos. This summer has been quite challenging, to say the least. I know that's not an excuse. I'm just letting you know what's happening. So I will be definitely trying to get more content out on this channel. It's been a little bit rough. However, the 2-month break on this tank has been worth it. As you'll see in this upcoming video here, things are finally taking hold. This tank, I know on the 32.5 I did rush it. I had a lot of controversy on that. Definitely not rushing this one. As you can see in this next video, things are looking pretty good. At the end of the video, I am going to do also a little follow-up to the 32.5. I know I've had some people that follow that tank pretty close, want to know where it's at, what it's doing. Unfortunately, I haven't done a lot with it. However, it is holding its own, so you will see that. I do plan on adding to that tank as well. My main focus right now is this one for the next few videos. So if you are here for the 32.5 gallon, I may throw in a few little cuts here and there, but the focus is on this one. I just want you guys to know that up front. Anyways, I'm not going to bore you with my life. Instead, let's get into this. Let's see what this baby has done over the last 2 months. I want to see if you guys think it's ready. I've done a lot of thinking on it. I have a few corals in here right now. I did add more that you probably won't see till the next video. However, I have been kind of considering making it an anemone tank. Let me know in the comments what you think. Hit the like button down there. Make a comment. Yes, I should go with anemones. No, I should not. Whatever reasons you may have, feel free to share them. If you just want to see what happens, you can do that as well. Anyways, let's get into it. Thanks. Okay, so we're looking like we're about 2.5 months in here. As you can see, the sand is white. There isn't much for hair. If you look, you can see the Coraline algae on the back of the glass. If you look close here, you can see where they're encrusted green Coraline algae starting on all the rocks. You can see that I did bring a piece from the 32.5 in here. It has a few I guess zoas on it, and then it looks like a Kenya tree. I put that in there for a fish that I put in the tank. Also, if you see that purple rock up on top up there, you can see where I put that in. That's an actual piece of live rock. It's encrusted in Coraline algae. I put that in there, just kind of a seed rock. I was reading a lot of articles on this, and it sounds like if you're going to use base rock like I did, and you want to have somewhat of a success without years into it, seeding it with an actual piece of live rock will help considerable. And I will say that from the results that I've had on this tank, I completely believe it. As you can see, that's a Coraline encrusted rock right there. There's the zoas, the piece of rock that I brought from the 32.5. And you can see, if you look here, we'll have a better picture coming up, but this is kind of in the blue, just showing you where. Now here's where I took out the blue, make it so you can see better. You can see where that green is not hair algae. That green is encrusted Coraline algae. It is green. I mean, it will eventually turn color as we go along, but you can see the spots on the back wall are actual encrusted Coraline algae, which has all come from that piece of live rock. The small amounts of, if you look at that rock, you can see at the top, see that small little fuzz there? Just barely enough to keep the couple snails I have in there fed. Otherwise, this rock is all encrusted. It's looking really good. I'm excited about putting some corals in here, maybe some anemones. I don't know which route I'm going for sure, but just looking at the rock, you can see, where my finger's pointing, it's all just encrusted algae. It's what you want. I'm completely not unhappy with this. Yeah, would I like it to be pink? Would I like it to be purple? Yes, but this is a good start for a base rock. 2.5 months in, I couldn't ask for more. Just and it's all due to that Coraline algae right there on that rock, I believe, is what's caused the trigger for things to, obviously they're not purple, but they're encrusting, which, I wouldn't have that in the tank to begin with had I not put that in there. So this is a very, very positive, I guess, I don't know. I look at it as I'm well on its way. I know this, just keep pointing at different things here, just kind of give you an idea. You can see the snail there. Also has Coraline incrustation on it. That's the big molly from the original video from the 32.5 gallon tank. That's one of her babies. She did have babies in here a couple times over the 2 months. I guess I didn't video that. I maybe should have. I did just, I think she's pregnant again. If she does have more, I will post that video here. I might even leave them in the tank for a little while this time. Let them grow up. I know I always get a lot of comments when that happens because it looks like the tank's overcrowded with fish, and I have a lot of people that are, immediately telling me get rid of those fish. So, but either way, this is just a close-up of, if you can see this rock here, if you look at the top of it, right behind the zoas there, you can see that's the Coraline type algae I have growing into the 32.5, because this is just a rock that comes straight out of there. It was a rock that was kind of hidden in the back. These zoas actually started growing on this rock without me even putting them on there. So I thought, let's put it in here. Let's see what happens. That snail is also encrusted with Coraline algae, which is helping get things started off. Everything I've put in this tank so far, it's all little bits, but they're all looking real good. Everything. You can tell. If you look right there at the top, right where my finger is going to be pointing, there's a little bit of a, well, it's a nuisance coral, actually, I guess you could call it. It's a Xena. When I was scrubbing the Xena frag that I had hanging on the side of the tank in here just for looks, some spores must have come off. They landed on that rock, so I don't know. I might have to get in there with a toothbrush, make sure I clean them off before they get carried away. I don't really want them taking that whole rock over. But this is where the tank is at right now. As you can tell, we're going to move to the front here. You can see that the sand is nice and white. The rock itself has got a good incrustation on it on all sides. If you look at this, you can tell there wasn't a lot of effort put into this. The earlier video I showed you, it had all sorts of weird stuff growing on it. I do kind of, I have been treating this with Vibrant here over the last, I'd say, 4 weeks. And I do kind of credit Vibrant because I had that kind of hairy fuzz stuff growing in the tank. Vibrant's pretty much cleared that all out. I did also put this power head in here that I had laying around, put some filter floss underneath it, kind of try to filter out any loose. It works definitely for sure. I haven't purchased the power head that I want for the tank yet. I will be getting one. But if you look up close, you can see there's not a lot of stuff getting sucked into it. I mean, that's great. I guess that just means things are, clean. I just originally put it in there thinking it would take it out. But here's a close-up of the pink and purple Coraline algae that's already growing on the back. And these Coraline algae spots here, some people want to scrape them off. But in this situation, I'm pretty happy about it because it's a sign that rock, that piece of live rock that I put in there is actually working. So I do credit that piece of live rock right there to the the whole Coraline algae in the tank. I did put Coraline in a bottle, the liquid, into the 32.5 gallon. I even did a video on it. I know some people really smashed me on that video, but I had zero luck with it. It was, I guess, in my opinion, completely worthless. I would never spend not even $1, much less the $25, $30 they charge for a bottle for it, when I could just go out and buy a piece of live rock like that, even at a pet shop. Even if that piece of live rock, this one come from a neighboring tank, so was pretty much little to nothing. But even if I had to pay $30, $40 for that piece of rock, it would be well worth it, because it's done way more than the Coraline in a bottle algae stuff that you put in there has ever done in the 32.5 in a much shorter time. And it's kept the tank looking real good. I mean, if you look at this side here, you can see the same exact, whatever angle you look at, you're looking at the same situation. I know that ugly power head in there, that's just temporary. That was put in there kind of as a hopes to kind of filter, whatever debris might be in there till I get a good power head. And I just have kind of left it, but it won't be in there permanent. I was just laying around. But as you can see, the incrustation on the tank is all good. I feel as though the tank is ready for more, and I'm really considering doing anemones more so than corals. There is I have another video coming out after this one here where I did buy some more corals for this tank, and you'll see that. Nothing major, but you'll see what I brought, what I've added to it. This is just kind of an update of where it's at right now. I know I've kind of left everybody hanging for a period of time. I wanted to get in there, give everybody an opportunity to, see what has happened over the last, I guess, 2.5 months. But the tank itself, there is no complaints here. I owe it all to that piece of live rock that I just pointed to. And then if you look at the snail on top there, you can see there's good Coraline on top of its shell. I have another snail in there like that. Everything I picked for this tank, specifically, I made sure it had good incrustation on it. One thing I never worried about or did when I was, working on the 32.5 gallon, I should have, because from my results here, I believe that having a piece of Coraline algae, a piece of actual live rock in your tank while doing the base rock is essential. I would never do it another way after this. If I was, I do like to make my own scapes, so I do like to use the base rock, but I would always find room for a piece of live rock in the tank when I do it. Here's the 32.5, the Fluval. Just kind of I'm going to do a little bit of a, rundown on it here. I got a new fish there, that blenny you see that just popped up. I did lose the Bengai cardinal. He got attacked by these two blennies. I have actually the bicolor blenny right there. You can see him sitting there, sticking his head up. The two blennies, they kind of fought a little bit at first, but then instead of fighting with each other, they decided to just destroy the cardinal. Well, obviously you don't want your fish to get killed or whatever, but as you know from previous videos, that cardinal that was in here had killed many a fish himself. So it was a bad thing, but it was one way to get rid of them. As you can see, that I'm pointing at that tube right there, that's a piece of PVC. I know it's kind of unattractive. I was going to hide it behind the rock a little bit better, but I'm kind of glad I left it out so I could show you. What that is actually a home that basically it's a tube. I drilled a couple holes in so water could flow through it, and that's for that bicolor blenny. That's kind of his home. I'll show you here in a second. He just sits in there with his head sticking out. Let's get closer here. All right, there you go. You can see the white ring around him. That's that PVC pipe. I'm going to hide it behind the rock a little better so you can't see it, but he thinks that's the best thing ever. He feels safe in there. He sits in there for most of the day. As you can see, I've had a little bit of loss here on some of the zoas. Some of them have shrunk back. Some of them are doing well. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Like I said, I didn't spend a lot of time focusing on the tank. I just made sure that, the things were, as far as the parameters, were staying stable, and I left it kind of go. I needed to I had things going on. I just didn't spend the time that I should have. Maybe I would know what happened to the zoas that I lost there, but I don't. So I guess we'll live and learn on that. There's still a few of each. The star polyp has, if you've seen the previous video on that, you can see that went from like a little speck to almost, covering the main part of that top rock there. And then this here is, I wish I could remember the name of it. It's kind of like a stick coral. It's a hard coral. It just glows green under the right light. This light is not a good light to show its true colors, but you can see where it's actually grown up. If you look back at the videos at the beginning, or even at the beginning of this video, you can see where there was just a little stem sticking up, and it's pretty much grown over the sides of the rock and over the top of the rock. It's kind of almost holding the reefscape together right there where it's grown. So it's really enjoying its place right there. You can also see in the back that I do have some red, looks like cyano, and it may very well be. In fact, I believe it is, honestly, but it seems to just stay on the back. It doesn't seem to spread, so for whatever reason, I haven't done anything with it. I just figured I'd let it try to play itself out. The Recordia here is split. I do have 2 of those right now. If you remember the first video, I just had bought the 1 frag. And then you can see right next to it the grape coral. That was also just a little speck when I got it, and now it's turned into quite a nice looking little head of grape coral there. And up here is the hammer. The hammer is, there's actually 4 heads in there now. It started out with 1, but it's actually split into 4. You don't really see all 4 until it's down at night, but it's really done well. I can't complain about that. I mean, you could literally probably cut that apart in 4s and make 4 frags if you wanted to. I don't. It's not something I'm looking at doing, but and there's some mushrooms there. It's not a good picture of it. They're kind of all growing down the side of that rock. They're doing as well as. And then down here, you'll see that I have the. If I'm saying it correctly, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe that's a tuxedo urchin. I will tell you that urchin right there has not hurt anything in the tank whatsoever, but it has been fantastic as far as algae removal. That thing alone will outperform 3 or 4 snails hand down. I think if I was going to be buying a cleanup crew, I'd be getting more of them versus snails. As you can see, there is finally some Coraline incrustation coming on here. It's kind of the pink variety. I know it kind of looks like cyano in this picture, but it's actually not. It's actually Coraline. And then there's also the green, just like in the previous video here. But this tank, is over a year old to get to this point. And if you look at the other tank, in 2 months. So, just thinking about that, what one little piece of actual live Coraline encrusted rock can do for you. Something to keep in mind. I think that was the main thing I learned. Here's the Gorgonia, which is doing, I guess, as well as to be expected. No problems there. Otherwise, this is the 32.5. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here discussing it. I wanted to throw it in here. I know I had quite a few people that follow this tank, sending me messages, asking me what's going on, where's it at, what's happening. And, like I said, it's part my laziness, part things that are going on. I do plan on trying to get more on top of these videos, 1 a week or 1 every 2 weeks, maybe throw in an extra one here and there. I do probably plan on using some of the YouTube shorts here just to kind of give you guys a heads up like I did this last time of stuff coming. That way people know what's going on. If it's something they're interested in watching, or if they want to skip it, or, share it with somebody. whatever they have in mind. I'm just doing this here to kind of record my track on this, and I hope everybody does enjoy it to some point. So it makes it worth making a video to me. Here's the other blenny. You can see he's got a tube down there. That tube is actually part of the, if you remember right, when I made this aquascape for this, I used a PVC frame, and I put it right in the rock. That's the top of it right there. This one uses that, and he goes right up to the top. Sometimes he's sticking out the top, sometimes he's sticking out the bottom down here. One thing about these blennies, though, if you ever get one, a piece of PVC pipe, whether it's hidden or exposed, they love it. And this is actually in the aqua top right now. This is a yellow-headed jarfish. I did have two of them. I did lose one right away. I wasn't paying attention, and he jumped out, and I didn't catch it. So unfortunately, I just have the one right now. But that's the main reason I put that piece of rock in there, is just to... All right, so I don't know if this is a video you guys have all been waiting for or not. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I promise, as always, there is more to come. I'm not done with this whole channel thing. Like I said, I had some issues over the summer. Anyways, things are looking up. I am planning on taking this baby to the next level. You should stay around for the ride. I hope you do. If you made it to this point, hit that like button. Let me know. Let me know people actually make it to the end of my videos, because the YouTube logarithm tells me you guys watch like 5 minutes and that's it. So feel free to smash that little like button. That lets me know what I'm doing is of interest to somebody. Anyways, until next time,